Be sure to set up your phone Siri, because it might save your life in critical moments. One day, Anne's mother was going abroad for a trip with her new boyfriend. A week passed quickly, and went to the airport to pick them up, but her mother didn't show up. Messages to her mother went unanswered. Phone calls were also unreachable. Subsequently, she contacted the resort hotel. She learned that her mother's luggage was still there, but her mother was not, and wanted to check the hotel surveillance, but the clerk said she had to come in person. However, the hotel surveillance can only be kept for 48 hours, and had to hire a delivery person to check. She explained the whole story to an uncle. The uncle asked why she didn't look for clues from her mother's boyfriend. Her mother's boyfriend was named Kevin, and immediately hacked into his email and searched for his location records. Strangely, Kevin had turned off his location as soon as he went abroad. Just then, the uncle called. He said the bad news was that the hotel surveillance was gone. The good news was that her mother had visited a hardware store. Her mother bought a lock and opened Kevin's blacklist and found 27 people there. They were all women, and in the mouths of different women, Kevin's name was different. It turned out that her mother's new boyfriend was a criminal. Then Anne remembered a tourist attraction. It was a Lovelock Bridge. Coincidentally, it was near the hardware store, and searched the live broadcast replay of the Lovelock Bridge. Finally, she found her mother's figure, but upon closer look, it wasn't her mother. She clicked on the live version of the picture. The woman in the photo wasn't her mother. It turned out that her mother had never gone on vacation, but as her desktop screen grew smaller, Anne's computer was being monitored in real time by a mysterious person, and found a monitoring system in Kevin's email. When she clicked in, she saw many surveillance cameras. One of the camera angles was a bedroom. It looked very familiar to Anne. She played a video. It showed her and her father. Suddenly, a phone call came in. At the door was her own father, but her father had been dead for over 10 years. It turned out he was still alive. After more than a decade of not seeing her father, and didn't know where to start, he could only tell Anne that back then, her mother had sought to monopolize her daughter, had sent her father to a Texas prison. That's why they were separated. And suddenly remembered that Kevin was also in that prison. When her father saw his lie exposed, he directly grabbed and dragged Anne. It turned out that her father was not only a domestic abuser but also a drug dealer. He took his daughter to where her mother was being held. At that moment, her mother stabbed broken glass into his body. The injured father fled the scene. He locked the mother and daughter in the room, but when he returned to the living room, he gradually lost consciousness. Suddenly, Anne remembered her phone was next to the computer. She said to the surveillance camera,
"Hey Siri, call 911.
In the end, Anne and her mother were saved. So don't underestimate the functions on your phone. There will always be a time when you need Siri.